Here's your wrestling news for November 22nd, 2025. Your headlines for today include: illogical reason given for WWE snubbing Shane McMahon from Raw's broadcast, Triple H's involvement questioned. Near disaster on SmackDown, smart move prevents career-ending injury. Real reason WWE scrapped heavily promoted SmackDown segment revealed. Logan Paul caught using cheat sheet during SmackDown promo. Newly signed WWE star hit with locker room backlash, real reason revealed. Injury forces Sheamus out of Cena's Last Time Is Now tournament. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch added to women's WarGames match. Shocking moment as WWE star gets unmasked on SmackDown. WWE announces traditional Survivor Series match for next week's SmackDown, and more. We have some major news concerning Shane McMahon. Shane O'Mac was last spotted in the crowd during the November 17th episode of WWE Raw at Madison Square Garden, but fans watching at home never saw him, and now the reason is finally clear. Shane attended the show about 10 rows back with his son, while his sister Stephanie McMahon sat front row. Stephanie makes semi-regular appearances at major WWE events, but Shane's presence was far less expected, which left many wondering why the broadcast never spotlighted him. Fightful Select has now provided WWE's side of the story, explaining that Shane wasn't shown simply because it wasn't part of the night's promotional plan. We asked WWE sources why Shane McMahon wasn't shown in the crowd. The claim was that the people shown in the audience were promoting projects and Shane was just visiting. It was stressed to us that he was welcomed to the show. On the contrary, immediately after Raw, Dirt Sheets reported a very different explanation, claiming that production botched the moment and failed to feature Shane on screen despite his significance to the company and the setting. Whether it was a deliberate decision or a simple oversight, the debate has only added to the buzz coming out of Madison Square Garden. Unconfirmed sources online are suggesting that things aren't smooth between Triple H and Shane McMahon, especially since the TKO takeover. Their long history of not fully seeing eye to eye dating back to the Attitude Era has only added more fuel to the speculation. After the event though, Shane posted a heartfelt message on social media, reflecting on the emotion of the night and what it meant to share the moment with his family. SmackDown opened with Paul Heyman leading Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and Bronson Reed to the ring as they hyped their WarGames team. The Usos quickly interrupted, trading words with Heyman's crew and setting the tone for the night. Cody Rhodes was expected to join Jimmy and Jay, but when he didn't appear, cameras cut backstage to reveal Drew McIntyre, leaving him knocked out inside his own tour bus. The Usos sprinted to check on him as the show went to commercial. Well, the real story in this segment wasn't the attack on Rhodes, it was Logan Paul stealing the spotlight. After Heyman finished his promo, he handed the microphone to Paul, who immediately told the crowd to be quiet because he had a lot to say. But eagle-eyed fans noticed something else. Writing was visible across Logan's hand, revealing what looked like a cheat sheet for his promo. Social media jumped on it instantly, joking about the Maverick's handwritten notes, whether he had minimal rehearsal time or simply wanted backup. Logan clearly wasn't taking chances. That moment led to later on in the night, as the Last Time Is Now tournament continued with Carmelo Hayes facing Bronson Reed. Before the match began, Nick Aldis issued a stern warning backstage to Reed and the rest of Heyman's crew, reinforcing the tension that had been building. The match played out like a classic David versus Goliath showdown. Reed controlled the pace with his size and power, while Hayes fought from underneath, trying to create openings. While Breaker and Logan Paul attempted to interfere, the Usos rushed out to protect Hayes, triggering more chaos. With the referee distracted by Heyman, Cody Rhodes, fresh off the earlier attack, re-emerged and went after Bronson Reed. That opened the door for Hayes to win by countout and advance in the tournament. WWE doesn't use this type of finish often anymore, but it worked here, furthering the storyline while giving Melo a meaningful win. Cody later took the microphone and erased any remaining doubt, declaring that WarGames is his birthright and he's ready to fight for his team. The night also felt like a major test for Carmelo Hayes, not in terms of skill, which has never been in question, but in crowd connection, and it worked. The audience rallied behind him, chanting "We want Melo," solidifying his momentum as a rising babyface heading into one of WWE's biggest matches of the year. Who do you think will win the men's WarGames match, and why? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. The first match of the night saw Ilja Dragunov step out for another United States Championship Open Challenge, and this time the call was answered by Raw's JD McDonough. Earlier in the match, a dangerous suplex spot stole the spotlight. The move spilled both men over the top rope, and while it could have gone terribly wrong, JD's control made it remarkable. He tucked, rolled, and guided Dragunov's momentum so Ilja wouldn't crash headfirst into the floor. The precision and awareness in that moment were outstanding. The familiarity between them was obvious. They've clashed across the Indies and WWE, and that history fueled a stiff physical fight. Both men wore the damage, Dragunov bleeding slightly, JD's chest lit up a bright red from chops and forearms. After a long punishing back and forth, Dragunov secured a clean victory with his finisher. But the challengers aren't slowing down for Dragunov. Backstage, Tama Tonga confronted Dragunov again, only for Tommaso Ciampa to appear moments later. With the pressure mounting, the question now is simple: when does Ciampa finally get his shot? SmackDown was set to feature a championship celebration for Chelsea Green, but the segment never made it to air. WWE did air a brief backstage moment where Chelsea demanded the celebration be rescheduled, suggesting it was cut for time rather than removed altogether. The segment is still expected to happen, just not this week. Fans have already begun speculating about why it was pulled. Many believe Nikki Cross would interrupt the celebration to set up her TV return, but her absence now appears tied to other developing plans behind the scenes. With AAA's next major show streaming on YouTube within the next 12 hours, many suspect WWE may be preparing for a Wyatt 6 appearance there instead. Earlier reports hinted the faction was headed to AAA to challenge for the tag titles, and while that never occurred, Uncle Howdy's sudden return on SmackDown has reignited that possibility. If the Wyatt 6 do appear at AAA, it would explain their absence from SmackDown and the delay of Chelsea's celebration. It also fits the expectation that the group will resurface on WWE television immediately after next week's traditional Survivor Series tag match. The final match of the night featured another Last Time Is Now tournament bout, this time pitting Finn Bálor against Penta. The Prince wasted no time getting the early advantage, jumping Penta before he was fully set and trying to control the pace from the opening bell. But the luchador didn't take long to recover, and once he found his rhythm, the crowd immediately rallied behind him. Balor leaned heavily into his heel persona throughout the match, which only amplified Penta's popularity. Every move the masked star delivered drew a reaction, and the energy inside the arena swung firmly in his favor. After Balor missed the coup de grace, Penta capitalized, countering with his signature destroyer to score the pinfall and advance in the tournament. Following the match, WWE finally gave the fans the complete tournament bracket they've been waiting for. The broadcast also addressed the earlier online reports, officially confirming that Sheamus is out with a shoulder injury. Commentary added that Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce will now meet to determine who will replace him in the bracket moving forward. LA Knight's next tournament match will air on next week's pre-recorded episode of SmackDown, so anyone hoping to stay spoiler-free may want to tread carefully online in the days ahead. Who do you think will step in for Sheamus against LA Knight? Should WWE have made the announcement live on SmackDown, or is keeping it quiet the better move? Share your thoughts in the comments below. One thing that stood out, though, was a noticeable missed opportunity. WWE had both Penta and Rey Fenix booked on the same show and didn't even feature a quick backstage interaction between the two. The brief moment, just a nod or acknowledgement, would have meant a lot to fans who rarely see the brothers on the same episode. Peace was officially declared between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley on SmackDown. Charlotte made it clear that the only reason she acted the way she did on Monday was to protect Alexa Bliss. The brief backstage exchange was exactly what was needed to settle the tension between them before WarGames. The main event segment then delivered the moment everyone was waiting for, the reveal of the fifth member of Team Rhea. As many expected, AJ Lee was announced as the final audition. However, because WWE teased this on Raw, Becky Lynch was fully prepared. She blindsided AJ Lee, and Asuka's team immediately attacked the babyfaces in the ring. The chaos ended with Becky Lynch being unveiled as the fifth member of Team Asuka. What do you think of the final women's WarGames lineups? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The next match of the night featured Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa teaming up against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. From the opening bell, it was clear Ciampa wasn't entirely locked in. His ongoing tension with Ilja Dragunov seemed to linger in the back of his mind, and Fraxium took full advantage. The duo used their speed and aerial offense to seize control early, even hitting a coordinated dive that wiped out both members of DIY at ringside. During the break, DIY managed to reset and slow the pace. By the time the broadcast returned, Ciampa and Gargano were back in rhythm, nearly scoring the win with a shatter machine that had the crowd thinking it was over. The finish, however, took a controversial turn. As Axiom attempted to mount a comeback, Candice LeRae slid in unnoticed and ripped off his mask. The distraction left Axiom scrambling to cover his face, giving Gargano the opening he needed to score the pinfall. DIY walked away with the victory, but it was clearly a cheap one, and the kind that keeps tensions between the teams very much alive. The match itself was solid, and the semi-creative finish gives WWE an easy path to continue the feud. But one lingering concern remains: WWE has reunited DIY only to split them up multiple times over the years, and fans are hoping this Dragunov storyline doesn't lead to another unnecessary breakup. As for Candice LeRae, the ending once again highlights a bigger issue. She remains one of the most underused talents on the roster, an excellent performer who still doesn't have a consistent direction. WWE revealed the official graphic for next week's SmackDown, showcasing Team Sami vs Team MFT with a full traditional Survivor Series branding. That presentation instantly elevates the stakes, and the visual design looks incredible. SmackDown also featured a promo from Team Sami laying out their intentions and setting the tone for next week's showdown. With tensions rising, the match is shaping up to be one of the key battles leading into Survivor Series. Who do you think has the stronger squad heading into this fight, Team Sami or Team MFT, and why? Joe Hendry's WWE signing has already made headlines, but it's his paycheck that's stirring up the most noise backstage. According to Sean Ross Sapp, Hendry is earning above the typical WWE main roster minimum of $350,000 despite being placed in NXT. The report also noted that WWE likely sees him as a future top star, which explains the higher rate. Still, some within the company aren't thrilled about a newcomer making more than established talent. Mark Henry weighed in on the Backlash during an appearance on Inside the Ring and didn't mince words. Henry made it clear that criticizing another performer's salary is pointless because pay isn't, and never has been, equal across the industry. Listen man, I'm so appalled at anyone that would look at another man or another woman's pockets. Stop looking at other people's pockets. The rules are not the same for everybody. I play favorites, I have favorites. Don't think for 1 second that you're going to get it the same way my son has it. Nepotism is real, there's nepotism, I'm all for it. Train your kid to be great at whatever your family was great at. How many times do you see the butcher? His son's a butcher. You see that guy that's the architect? His son or daughter is the architect. You pass it on. Vince McMahon, you're supposed to. And then the same thing applies for money. Henry went on to explain that top performers, or those viewed as top prospects, will always command higher pay. Companies invest heavily in talent they want to keep, especially when outside promotions are competing for the same names. To him, it's simple business. He added that most complaints about salary differences stem from jealousy, not fairness. In his view, people who fail to reach certain levels tend to resent those who do. With Hendry now being paid above some main roster talent, the real question becomes whether WWE's bet will pay off. Do you think WWE has made the right call by paying Joe Hendry above the main roster minimum? Is he worth that level of investment this early, or should talent have to earn it first? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hank Walker and Tank Ledger's GHC Tag Team Championship reign is already over, just 13 days after it began. The NXT duo dropped the belts on Friday at Pro Wrestling Noah's Crossover 2025 event in Japan, falling to Masa Kitamiya and Takashi Sugiura in a finish that was anything but clean. Kitamiya and Sugiura, who originally lost the titles to Hank and Tank on November 8th, reclaimed the gold with steel chair shots and heavy outside interference from their Team 2000X stable. The controversial win brings their back-and-forth title feud full circle in less than 2 weeks. With their Noah run now wrapped, Hank and Tank are expected to return to NXT, where we'll see what's next for the powerhouse team following their whirlwind international title chase.